Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. Recording this early, so I don't know how we did on Wednesday night yet. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, we had a good one. Only 5 games. I think it's 5 games on the board for Thursday. Let me check real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 games on the board for Thursday. I'm going to go through 2 of them in this video, but we'll go through all the games on the live show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to go through 2. Let's go.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, we got Sacramento on the road in New York. Knicks are laying 3.5 points at home, total sitting at 215.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 5-point Knicks win. Final score 113-108 New York. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with Sacramento. It's only Malik Monk. Malik Monk is going to miss another game. Looks like he's already been ruled out for this one. Other than that, Kings should be at full strength here. On the New York side, Josh Hart's on the report. He's listed as questionable. Mitchell Robinson on the report as well. He's listed as questionable. Still no OG Anunoby, and still no Julius Randle for the Knicks. Betting trends on the Sacramento side. Kings are 9-8 against the spread since March 1st. 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 on the road, though. Kings have been covering on the road, and that dates back to last season. They've always been a reliable team to bet on the road. On the Knicks side, 9-6 against the spread since March 1st, and 4 in a row. Knicks 4-0 against the number in their last 4 at home. Kings have been trending heavily towards unders. 2-6 to the under in the last 8 Sacramento games, but Knicks have been trending heavily towards overs. 7-1 to the over in the last 8 Knicks games. As far as this head-to-head matchup, Knicks have done well against Sacramento. They're 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 meetings against the Kings. So let's match these 2 teams up on the court. We'll start with some net efficiency numbers in the last 10 games. Pretty close here on paper. 7th to 12th in overall efficiency in favor of the Knicks. So the Knicks have been slightly more efficient than the Kings. But if we look at strength of schedule, it's 19th to 25th Sacramento. So the Kings have played a slightly stronger schedule. Just last 10 games overall, these 2 teams pretty close. Both playing elite defense right now. 5th and 6th in the NBA in defensive efficiency in the last 10. Now, New York on the season is just 5-9-1 against the spread against top 5 defenses. So the Knicks have struggled when they've seen these elite defenses. But the Kings are 4-7 against the spread against top 5 defenses. So both of these teams playing elite defense, and both of these teams have struggled against elite defenses. Let's start with the matchup for the Kings offense here. And it's not that they're playing poorly. The Kings just can't get their shots to fall right now. 28th in effective field goal percentage the last 10 games. Obviously, going on the road to New York against this Knicks defense is going to be a tough task for a team that's not hitting their shots. Knicks are a great defensive team, as I'm sure you know. Kings should get trips to the line here, though. In the last 10 games, they're 4th in free throw rate. The Knicks defense is 24th. Shot zones for the Kings offense. I mean, I don't know if we can count on Sacramento scoring on the interior in this one. It hasn't really been a huge focus of their offense. They haven't been efficient down there either. And the Knicks have been a top 10 interior defense recently and for most of the season. And then you add on that Mitchell Robinson might be on the court coming off the bench. I don't know if I see a path to the Kings bullying the Knicks defense down low. I just don't see that happening. If the Kings want to compete offensively in this game, jump shots have to be falling, and they haven't been recently. That's why the status of Josh Hart is pretty huge. He's one of the Knicks' better perimeter defenders, and with OG Anunoby out, they really rely on Josh Hart a lot. The Kings need their shots to fall. And you know what? The Knicks have been vulnerable to the mid-range shot. Kings shoot a decent amount of those, but look at the three-point shooting numbers. The Knicks have been elite above the break, 4th in frequency, 4th in efficiency the last 10 games. Overall, it's a pretty tough matchup for the Kings offense. But when you flip it around to the other side of the court, this is where you definitely find value on Sacramento. Definite edge to the Kings defense on this side. Do have to give New York credit. They've been a great offensive rebounding team basically the entire season. They've probably been the best offensive rebounding team start to finish this season. They're 1st in offensive rebounding rate in the last 10 games. And this is a Kings defense that's used to winning the rebounding battle on that side of the court. So the Knicks are going to be a tough test in that regard. But I got to ask, when it comes to the Knicks offense, where exactly are we expecting them to score from in this game? 48% of their shots come from 12 feet or inside. Kings have been playing great defense down low for most of the season. I mean, I guess maybe the Knicks should get some looks from outside, but they've been such an inefficient three-point shooting team. They're not scared to take the shots. So if you like the Knicks, maybe you can count on those shots falling. But as a whole, the Knicks haven't been efficient shooting the three-point shot. So I really don't like this matchup for the Knicks offense, and there's no way I could bet the Knicks here. Certainly won't lay points with them. So it'll only be Kings for me. I'm leaning Kings plus 3.5. To be honest, what I really want to do is bet the under at 215.5. I think that's way too high. Kings have been trending towards unders, but I just took the under in the Knicks Heat game the other night. Got smoked by 1.5 at the end, and Knicks just keep going over the total. So I don't know how can you bet the under in a Knicks game right now? They're 7-1 to the over in their last 8. So I want to bet Kings plus 3.5, and I want to bet under. I'm going to do a combination of those. Maybe a Knicks team total under, actually. I'll let you know on the live show, but I like the Kings and I like the under. That's where I'm at in this one. Next game. Sixers on the road in Miami. We got the Heat laying 2.5 points at home. The total sitting at 210.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 9-point Miami win. Final score 113-104 Heat. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with Philadelphia, and we got some names on here. Obviously, the big news is Joel Embiid is back. He played the other night in their win over OKC. He's listed as questionable, so not confirmed whether or not Embiid's going to play in this one. Tyrese Maxey also on the injury report. He's listed as questionable. Tobias Harris listed as questionable, and Mo Bamba listed as questionable as well. Sixers are also still missing Covington and DeAnthony Melton. So Philly gets Embiid back, but still a lot of injury concerns here. On the Miami Heat side, Tyler Hero still out. Still no Hero for the Heat. Other than that, though, looks like the Heat's going to be they're going to be good to go. Betting trends on the Sixers side: Philly 8-2 against the spread in their last 10, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. Sixers have been a cash machine recently. But on the Miami side, we got some nice looking trends here as well. 4-2-1 against the spread in their last 7, 3-1 against the spread in their last 4 at home. This particular head-to-head matchup has been all Miami. The Heat are 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 meetings against the Sixers. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with some net efficiency numbers in the last 10 games. No question, Miami's been playing much better than Philadelphia. They're 4th in overall net efficiency in the last 10 to 18th for Philadelphia. But look at strength of schedule, 6th to 28th. So yeah, the Heat have better numbers as far as raw data in the last 10 games, but the strength of schedule, I mean, we're talking about one of the easiest schedules in the NBA in the last 10 against one of the strongest schedules. So the gap between these two teams might be a lot closer than you think. And also, keep in mind, these are numbers from the last 10 games. Joel Embiid only played in 1. If Embiid's on the floor, obviously Philadelphia becomes a much better team instantly. Also, we know that Miami is an elite defensive team. This is a team that's powered by their defense. In the last 10 games, they're actually 1st in defensive efficiency in the league. That being said, Sixers on the year, 10-4 against the spread against top 5 defenses. Philadelphia's been a lot more profitable against elite defenses than elite offenses. So that's a nice little angle for Philly. Let's take a look at the matchup for the Sixers offense, and obviously Miami has the edge on this side. I mean, we just mentioned they have one of the best defenses in the NBA. You do have to keep strength of schedule in mind. These numbers are going to be heavily skewed in favor of the Heat, but still, no question, Miami has an elite defense. I will say, though, something I like here for the Sixers offense, the strength of this Miami defense recently has been not letting their opponents get to the rim. But scoring at the rim hasn't been a huge part of the Sixers offense recently, and even with Joel Embiid back, he takes most of his shots from mid-range. Finishing at the basket isn't a huge part of Philadelphia's offense, at least it hasn't been recently, and I don't think it will be even with Embiid. So I actually like how Miami's biggest strength defensively is kind of negated a little bit. Philadelphia has actually been shooting the outside shot really well recently, and I only expect those numbers to be better with Embiid on the floor to draw some double teams, and that's a good thing because Miami's three-point defense hasn't been that great at all. Pretty average, actually, and that's against a weaker schedule. So yeah, the Miami Heat defense is elite, no question, but Philly's got a great hit rate against the spread against elite defenses, and I don't hate the matchup for them on paper. And on the other side, we got the Heat offense. I kind of like the matchup for the Sixers on this side as well. The weak spot of this Sixers defense recently has been keeping opponents off the offensive glass. They've been a terrible defensive rebounding team recently, but Miami's a terrible offensive rebounding team, so there's that. Also, Joel Embiid might be back. Should help with the defensive rebounding numbers. And Philly's been profitable in these matchups against teams that aren't active on the offensive glass. On the season, they're 9-5 against the spread against the bottom 5 offenses in offensive rebounding rate. So as far as betting this game, I like the matchup for Philly here. I'm going to be betting the Sixers. I also like how Miami's on the first leg of a back-to-back. I didn't mention that. Obviously, I don't want to pull the trigger on this one with Maxey, Embiid, Toby Harris. I mean, so many question marks. But I'm fairly certain I'm going to end up on Philly, even if Embiid doesn't play or one of those guys doesn't play, I probably will still bet Philly. I just want to wait a little bit and see where the line settles, but I'm almost definitely going to be on the Sixers here. Live shows tomorrow. MLB is at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. NBA live show 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets for all sports and the top bets for my whole staff, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information is right on the homepage. Let's have ourselves a solid Thursday here. It's not a loaded day, so not a ton of action on the board. Remember to be smart and pick your spots. Bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you on the Discord.